Welcome to the Subway Conversation Chat, episode 7. I'm your host, Jamie Malloy, and I'm ready to talk some New York Yankees and New York Mets baseball with my co-host, Joe Dalio. So without any further ado, here's Joe. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
It is going great, Jamie. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Happy Tuesday Schmooze Day. As we were talking about backstage, and I can't believe it's already the 13th of May. And guess what? Schedule release is coming out tomorrow for the NFL.
Yes, I look forward to seeing that. Although I am ready to talk some baseball here too. Now, one thing I'm having difficulty believing is that this MLB season that we just started talking about, seems like yesterday, is about a quarter over already. Can't believe that.
I know, 25%.
But still, lots of great things to talk about. And I believe it is your week to start this week.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, what's going on in Yankees land there?
So anyway, we begin with the Yankees injury report. Number 1, we have infielder DJ LeMahieu on a left calf strain. He went 1 for 4 in rehab outing on Sunday and is expected to rejoin the Yankees for their Seattle series being played right now. And his expected return is any day, anytime, maybe tonight or tomorrow, and it couldn't be at a better time. Any and all Yankee fans are seeking a sigh of relief today as Oswaldo Cabrera only fractured his ankle last night at home, and I use the term only loosely because it looked scary on TV, but we got good news out of it. We are finally getting answers to what has happened to the utility player. Here is what has been reported off the Yankees website by Josh Kirschenbaum. One day after being taken off the T-Mobile field in an ambulance, Yankees utility man Oswaldo Cabrera was placed on the 10-day injured list with a left ankle fracture on Tuesday. Infielder DJ LeMahieu returned from his rehab assignment and was reinstated from the 10-day injured list in a corresponding move. Cabrera sustained the injury when he ran wide to avoid Cal Raleigh's tag at the plate in the 9th inning of the Yankees' 11-5 win over the Mariners on Monday. Cabrera beat the throw in the tag, but overran the plate by multiple steps. As he tried to stop, his left ankle buckled under his momentum. Cabrera was able to stumble back and tag home plate with his hand, but stayed on the ground after the play and did not move as the training staff rushed out to check on him. After a brief time, the center field gate at T-Mobile Park opened to allow the cart to come out, but made its way only to the right field foul pole before turning back and exiting. A few minutes later, as players from both teams stood in silence on the field, an ambulance came out and made its way to home plate. We have a quote. "It is definitely one of those unfortunate things that pops up that lends perspective to what we're doing," manager Aaron Boone said Monday night. "We're playing a game. You get so consumed with it all the time and the ups and downs of it. And something like that happens for someone you feel so good about. It smacks you with that perspective that we try to talk about and have all the time. At the end of the day, it's a game." LeMahieu's activation on Tuesday was expected, with Boone saying Monday that LeMahieu would be in uniform Tuesday and make his first start of the season in the day game to end the series Wednesday. That could be aligned and change along with where LeMahieu plays when he does debut. Boone said that the plan was to move the 4-time Gold Glover back to second base, where he only made 44 starts since the beginning of the 2022 season. But with Cabrera out, there could be a bigger need for them at third. The Yankees did win the game 11-5. Our prayers go out to Oswaldo for the speedy recovery, and we hope that LeMahieu could take over in his absence. Once again, thank you goes out to Josh Kirschenbaum for that Yankees update. Now moving on to some more injury news. Right-handed pitcher Jonathan Loáisiga. He's recovering from right UCL surgery. The right-handed pitcher is scheduled for 5 outings at AAA starting tomorrow. He would then go on to pitch again on Sunday and Tuesday before seeking back-to-back outings on May 17th through the 18th. Expected return late May. 3, designated hitter Giancarlo Stanton. As he has torn tendons in both elbows, Stanton proceeds to improve with his injuries to his elbows. The 35-year-old anticipates that he will need some minor league rehab games before returning to the Bombers. Manager Aaron Boone says that Stanton's rehab may be different as he doesn't have to get ready to play in the field. Stanton has been taking at-bats using the Traject high-velocity pitching machine. Expect to return late May, early June. So now let's turn it over to Joe for some Mets news. Joe?
All right. Thanks, Jamie. Excellent information there. Sad news. I saw the injury highlight for Cabrera, this morning. So, certainly hope he recovers quickly, but as all these other guys do. But it's same kind of with the Mets now, not maybe to the extent that you were talking about. No player moves really to talk about, but some injury updates as well. Positive news here that as of last week, Paul Blackburn, again, relief pitcher, for depth, could start a game or two as well. He's on a rehab assignment in AAA Syracuse, so he's making positive strides. Speaking of Mets pitchers, Frankie Montas, who they picked up in the offseason, he threw another bullpen session. He has a potential early June return. So we'll see if that can go on schedule. Sean Manaea making progress as well. Played catch from 120 feet, and again, I'm just kind of saying this as I saw it. I'm not sure what the process is or what that exactly means as far as, okay, playing catch, and then do they do this, and then they do that. But it sounds like it's progress, and we'll certainly take that regarding Sean Manaea. So he played catch from 120 feet. He's expected to start throwing off the mound. He is still at least a month away. It's a potential mid to late June return for Manaea. But still, even if they get him back for the second half of the season, it would be a major boost to the Mets pitching rotation that's already pitching quite well. Luis Torrens is day-to-day with a groin issue. He got hurt that yesterday, I believe. Other updates, prospect Ronnie Mauricio is rehabbing in AAA Binghamton, so he's rumbling with the Ponies down there. And Jose Siri, who we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, who fouled the ball off his shin and actually broke his bone there, the fibia, is actually resuming baseball activities a lot sooner than normal. He was supposed to be out 8 to 10 weeks and still could be pushing, the 8-week mark. But the way he's progressing so far, they said he's already resumed baseball activities. So, he must be, able to obviously, be on the leg. So that's definitely encouraging news. And, we'll see how, he can progress and fit into the Mets plans here. He's playing some good center field. And so we'll see how that goes there. But that's basically it as far as now. That's leaving out some of the major injuries that we had there as far as, some guys that are out for the season, AJ Minter, Danny Young, etc. That's obviously not going to change, but some positive injury updates here as well. So not too much to talk about there, but let's send it back to you now for more Yankee updates.
Thank you very much, Joe. Good job on that Mets information there. Anyway, now we're going to talk about Jason Dominguez having an historic night, or as they would say instead of Jason Derulo, Jason Dominguez with a historic night, Palooka Heights. Anyway, it was an awesome night for Yankees rookie outfielder Jason Dominguez, a.k.a. The Martian. Yep. The former prospect last Friday night hit 3 home runs, with the final one being a grand slam in the 8th inning. Additionally, he played some small ball with a sac fly in the 5th inning, giving him 7 RBIs in a 10-2 Yankees win. Shortly, the MLB made an announcement about Dominguez and the Yankees on X, doing the Des Bryant X. We have a quote. Jason Dominguez is the youngest player in Yankees history to record a 3-homer game, the MLB social media revealed. Dominguez has, for the most part, struggled out of the gates in 2025, but this was his breakout game. But was this his breakout game? The 22-year-old was batting .231 heading into his big game with merely 2 home runs and 12 RBIs. He more than doubled that home run total in one night. Joe, what do you think of the Martian looking like Aaron Judge Friday and breaking a record that Mickey Mantle had?
Yeah,
this is a young guy who's on a rookie contract who is trying to prove himself doing this.
Yeah, and it seems like he's been making steady progress before that, too. Now, it's funny. I like your Jason Derulo reference. And my daughter and I laugh at Jason Derulo because in every one of his songs, he says who he is, right? There's not too many music artists that do that. So how about every time Jason Dominguez comes up to the plate, he says, this is, he sings it. Jason Dominguez. There we go. So we'll see if we can make that happen. But as I said, he was progressing pretty well, I thought, before a performance like this, and now he's breaking Yankee records from Mickey Mantle. So that's an achievement for sure. I didn't know that he was the youngest player to do that. So good for him, and it's good that he continues to make that progress. And seems like a lot of Yankees are doing that. These young guys that they have a lot of faith in that are developing, and certainly Dominguez is one of them. And I think you're going to see more great things from him.
One of these it's just sad one of the young guys is out now in Cabrera, but still the other young guys are doing well.
Exactly.
So anyway, could the Yankees surprisingly part ways with Paul Goldschmidt? The Yankees have got 99 problems. They really don't, but Goldie ain't one.
Right.
The New York Yankees have struck gold. And Joe, they didn't strike platinum. They didn't strike silver, so they had to strike
Goldschmidt.
Gold, yep. He's not Paul Platinum Schmidt or Silver Schmidt. He's Goldschmidt. That would be a Chris Berman reference, I think. Anyway,
exactly.
When they signed Paul Goldschmidt to a 1-year deal for 2025, while he's done more than his part, the problem is Giancarlo C.K. Puedarlo Stanton's coming to a town near you at some point. They keep saying he's going to come back, but we don't know when yet. Just like how the Steelers keep saying Rodgers is going to sign, but we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Rice is looking nice at DH and also can play first base. According to a recent Bleacher Report, the 37-year-old is listed as a potential trade candidate. And we have a quote, if a handful of things go in New York's favor, though, flipping Goldschmidt for a starting pitcher could be on the table. The biggest one is that the 37-year-old first baseman needs to continue hitting well. Joe, why or why not would it make sense for the Yankees to ship Goldschmidt at the deadline while he's hitting hot to get another arm in the starting rotation or like a rental starter for this year? And if they do that, how does this affect Garrett Cole coming back in 2026, you think?
Yeah, excellent question. It's a very difficult question. And first, you were always talking about the other guy, Schmidt. So can we call him maybe John Jacob Tinkle Goldschmidt, right? Would that work? We'll think about it. But it's got benefits either way. It's an excellent question, like I said. And I've been hearing about this recently. I don't know if it was from you or from articles that I've read, but it may make sense for them to trade him, especially because it can address other needs that the Yankees have. You just mentioned pitching, and as far as getting a pitcher here and affecting Garrett Cole for next year, I think that's a problem you worry about next year, first of all. And second of all, you can never have too much pitching, right?
Mhm.
So if that's a move that they're thinking about making, then I certainly can understand it and would be, in agreement with it. And I'm thinking that as much as you don't want to give up Goldschmidt, because again, he's contributing to the lineup, he's a very valuable bat. He's a very valuable veteran presence in that lineup. So those are the reasons you wouldn't want to lose him. But I'm thinking if he's at the peak of his success now, do you look to trade him sooner than later? As much as he's, again, a guy that you don't really want to lose, if the reward is greater than the risk or what you're losing there, sometimes you got to make sacrifices if you want to win championships. And this would be one of those sacrifices that you have to make. Now, if they decided, okay, you know what, we're going to keep him. We kind of are at a good spot right now. And we think he would be of more value to stay with the team and be in this lineup. Well, then obviously you arrange to do that. And maybe you're not so quick to get rid of him. So it's kind of a tough, you're caught in between because, again, he's playing great now and you would get maximum value for him now. But do you want to pull the trigger on that too soon and, find out that you do need something? So a bigger player gets hurt or you might have a greater need somewhere else. And then it's like, oh, well, okay, now we do maybe trade him for that piece. But you take the risk that he goes into a slump or that he's not playing to the level that he is now. So again, tough question. And that's why, we're not the ones in the GM seat there and having to make that decision. But really, I think it makes sense, on both ends of that equation. What do you think about that? Like what, if you're Brian Cashman, what's your first inclination there?
Explore your options, but like I said, if you have the opportunity to deal for a starting pitcher, don't wait now. Cole's problems next year. If you can get an arm this year, that's going to help them at least reach their goals of getting over the hump and winning the World Series. Do it.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Mm-hmm. So let's see where. Okay, so could the Yankees trade for a Pirates pitcher after the manager was fired? Joe, I wonder where we've heard that before. Pirates pitchers going to somewhere else and actually excelling because they have a team around them and they're being wasted in Pittsburgh. Garrett Cole, right? He was with the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
The Yankees go for another press their luck again with a Pirates flamethrower. Because the one thing that I like about Pirates pitchers, they do like to throw the big 97, 9900 mile an hour fastballs. They got some young flamethrowers over there that the Yankees could get for Goldschmidt. So
yeah, would the Pirates be willing to give him up though? That's the big question.
Yeah. Anyway, the Yankees offense has been on a roll this season. The pitching is starting to come around after the Yankees spent the offseason reloading their starting rotation on some guy named Max Fried, right?
Right.
But for, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the largest contract for a lefty, right? 8 years, $218 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked. Anyway, well, Max Fried and Carlos Rodon have looked like the aces that they are to replace Cole. The bottom of the rotation has been a work in progress, with the exception of Will Warren breaking through last Friday night, and also Monday night, Clark Schmidt pitching another great game coming back from his injury. So this is why the Yankees let one of the best hitters go get this payday with the Mets. You know who he is, Joe. I won't say his name. I don't want to hurt your feelings. But anyway, they traded this guy to the Mets so he could get his $800 million payday with them so the Yankees could upgrade their pitching.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Well, Garrett Cole had Tommy John surgery. He's still out with the team in the dugout. We talked about this on multiple shows, but we're going to say it again. He's still with the team on the dugout as a veteran assistance for some of the younger and other pitchers out there as a guidance, playing that Max Scherzer role like you talked about when he was with the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we have the two guys from John Boy Media, Let's Talking Yanks, who I would really like to get on this on the show. If I could get their content, it'd be pretty cool, you know.
That would be awesome.
Anyway, we have give me a good pitcher on the Pirates, Pennick said. Somebody that would be looking to deal a starter not named Paul Skeens as it continues to build towards the future. Oh man, I couldn't imagine Paul Skeens on the Yankees.
Right.
Wow.
Hey, you can imagine it because it's one of those things that could happen, maybe not in the near future, but you know, it took Garrett Cole a while to get there. Yeah. So maybe down the road, 5-7 years.
Or if not him, maybe Jared Jones or what about that prospect they got too, Bubba Chandler?
I was just going to say Bubba Chandler is like the number 2 prospect in all of Major League Baseball right now. So
yeah, but he's kind of like Skeens, so he can throw 99 to 100 already, which is good.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere for a while, except to the Pirates. He's in AAA now, I think, but he'll be with the Pirates later this year, I'm sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Panic knows where he's going with this. The Pirates are cheap when spending money, but they could really supply a whole league of young pitchers if they could.
Yeah.
And don't the Yankees currently have an ace, even though he had Tommy John surgery, who was formerly a Pittsburgh Pirate? Yeah, we did talk about that. Garrett Old King Cole.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole, folks. Sorry.
He is getting older.
Though. Yeah. So, Joe, do the New York Yankees want to try to rebrand as the New York Pirates?
Well, again, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, Skeens ain't going there anytime soon. Nor is Jones, nor is Bubba here. Bubba Chandler. So, they're going to probably either have to go deeper into their minor league system or just raid somebody else's up and coming star. But I don't think, especially those 3 guys, can you imagine if they all get to the level that they're supposed to get to? I mean, we already see where Skeens is, and I know Jones is hurt now and Chandler's not quite here. But
Jones just looked good when healthy. He showed what he can do.
Exactly. Think about 2 seasons from now. If Skeens stays healthy and Jones comes back and Chandler is as good as people say, can you imagine a 1-2-3 rotation like that?
But then I can also imagine the offense around him still with the lowest payroll in the league.
Yeah, but they'll be winning 2-1 games. And I know you want those guys on the Yankees, and it could happen again years down the road. Yeah. But optimism in Pittsburgh with that kind of rotation. But again, I think
guess what? I don't want to rip on the Pirates too much because ever since they fired their manager, they've even though they lost to the Mets, they did take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, and it looks like Don Kelly's brought a whole new type of energy to the club, already getting tossed in his second game.
I saw that, and they lack talent. So yeah, but again, if I'm a fan of a team, all I want is to watch them play hard and make it fun to watch. So I think the Pirates are going to do that. And again, there's a lot of optimism there, going forward. So but
I wonder, Joe, I don't know if they could continue this route of that owner not spending any money though, and them continuing to be the lowest payroll in the league.
You took their words right out of my mouth. Payroll. If they're willing to spend and if they're willing to invest and with money that they have, I mean, yes, they're a small market team and, you're not going to compete with the Mets or Yankees or any of the big spenders there, but Dodgers, et cetera. But certainly there's money to spend there. And something I wish Major League Baseball would step in because you get stubborn people like that. It's not going to change. So somebody's going to have to force their hand there. And hopefully that happens because the Pirates fans deserve better. And again, there's potential. I mean, a great farm system. So you get a couple of people like veteran leadership in there with some of these young guys that they're bringing in, and you can turn it around.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I get the owner wants to be economical because maybe he's thinking from his point of view. I wonder if he's doing it, though, to try to, like, maybe protest the current system or something. Because, look, obviously it was great. It was great for the Mets and Soto. But look, even the Yankees didn't want to pay him. And I know the Dodgers are trying to load up on $700 million contracts, but I wonder if the owner's thinking, I'm trying to do this to protest the system, because he's probably thinking no player in any sports league, regardless of a salary cap or a luxury tax, is worth $800 million. I mean, that's what he must be thinking, but I don't know.
Right, but other teams have made it work. The Orioles don't have a ton of money. The Astros didn't have a ton of money when they were getting started and everything. Look at a team like the Brewers. Look at a team like Tampa a few years ago.
Or the Nationals, even though they're struggling right now, but they're kind of doing it that way too. Most of their team is all homegrown guys from the Red Wings, basically.
Yeah, and they're going to develop, and they're already, developing together. And I mean, they're not playing well now, but you could tell that progress is being made there. So if he wants to protest, he can do that. It's not going to change anything, and it's only going to screw the fan base. So I don't like it either. I'm a Mets fan, and my owner spends more than anybody these days.
Yeah.
But I don't like what that does for baseball. I want a team like the Pirates to have just as good a chance as a team like the Mets or the Yankees or the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So they don't financially. But again, you could still spend enough, and you could still manage it well enough, a la Orioles, a la, again, Brewers or Rays or, any of those small markets.
Like I said, you don't have to be the Dodgers and give everybody $700 million either. You don't have to do it that.
Right.
That
and you can still compete and be a playoff team and a potential World Series team. So you just got to do it right, and they're not, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's do this. Speaking of Paul Skeens, why was Paul Skeens nonchalant about manager Derek Shelton being canned from the Pirates? Well, by all Skeens necessary, we should find that out. Pirates star hurler Paul Skeens normally doesn't say much. Then again, he was quiet on Friday, but didn't mince words either. And we have a quote from him. Unfortunately, I wasn't shocked, Skeens said when asked about Sheldon's firing, which occurred Thursday during the team's day off. At the end of the day, I mean, we're 12-26. Somebody's got to be held accountable, and it was cut off, but he said, unfortunately, it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to Friday, the Pirates were 12-26, only better than the Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies. The Pirates have had 5 straight losing seasons since Shelton took over in 2020, while only finishing 306 and 440. 2023 and 2024 saw the Pirates post back-to-back 76 and 86 seasons. Sometimes something needed to be changed, but Shelton may have been a sacrificial lamb for an even bigger problem, Joe. And we just talked about it. The Pirates have Paul Skeens, but the owner doesn't want to spend any money. And we have a quote here. I don't know that it fixes the root of the issue, which is that we need to play better, Skeens said. That's been the messaging today. That's been the messaging for a little bit now, and we still got to do that. And so, Joe, why are they blaming the manager when year after year the Pirates never really spend money and consistently have a low payroll? And I do like Paul Skeens saying, though, it wasn't him, and he's saying we need to play better in light of all this situation, because he ain't going to chew the owner out. He's going to say it's us players that have to take accountability, and I like that. But what do you think? Like we just talked about, the Pirates have a low payroll, but do you like Paul Skeens at least taking the high road and saying it's us players and saying that it's us that need to get it done at the end of the day, even though he knows it's deep down, it's probably the owner. He just doesn't want to chew him out because he's a nice guy.
Well, because he knows better too. I mean, I love the fact that he is saying that, and that's totally true. I love the fact that he's a second year, very young player stepping up and admitting that. So it's the manager always takes the fall in a situation like that.
Mhm.
It's just going to happen that way. You know, look at Colorado. Bud Black got fired. Who
Mhm.
knew we were going to have 2 years in a row of the worst record in baseball history?
Right,
Um,
right, and Joe, that's what everybody's saying though. Are these usually it used to be you fired the manager because you had expectations of being a great team and you fell short of them,
right.
or like the Yankees wanted to try to fire Joe Torre and bring in Lou Piniella, even though they were the highest payroll team in baseball. But I mean, are these managers now? Are they getting blamed now for something that's a bigger problem that's just beyond them? Like I
Of
feel like
course.
this Derek Shelton thing is beyond his control. It's more of the owner than it is who they hire as manager.
Yeah, if anybody thinks it's all his fault, then they're sadly mistaken. I mean, I'm sure he could look himself in the mirror and think of things that maybe he could have done, but you know, he could have been Dick Williams or Joe Torre or anybody, and the situation wasn't going to change here. I mean, that's obvious, I think. And again, there is a deeper issue here besides the players just having to play better. Again, there's an ownership issue there. So, and I think everybody's smart enough to realize that. Anybody that knows enough about baseball is smart enough to realize that. So that's the main issue. But of course, always the manager is going to get blamed, whether it's a team that was supposed to be great and is underperforming, whether it's a team like this like the Rockies, for example. They're performing historically bad. Is it all Bud Black's fault? Of course not. But what else can they do? We don't know what to do. So yeah, I guess it's time to fire the manager.
Yeah,
And that'll give them a little spark for a week, and then it'll go right back to, potentially creating history. I never thought the Mets record of losing 120 games would be broken. And somehow it happened last year. Now we're on the verge of it happening 2 years in a row. Because I think the Rockies are at a worse pace than the White Sox were last year. But going back to what you were asking and saying there, it's not only baseball, it's every sport, right? Just things aren't working. Now it gets dangerous where a team can go on a 10-game losing streak and all of a sudden they're fired, even though things were going well for a long time before that. So no, I think they're less safe now than they ever were. The managers or coaches of other sports as well. So that's just the one fix that that's the Band-Aid, I call it. We're bleeding losses here. Let's fire the manager. That's the Band-Aid, and then I guess they try to fix the bigger issue later on. So that's what the Pirates are going to have to do. That's what the Rockies are going to have to do, and the Band-Aid is on now, but there's a much, it's not just a cut on the arm. It's a blood vessel deep within that's broken or something like that. So there's more that needs to be fixed.
yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So anyway, let's take a look at some Yankees ingrown pitching prospects who kind of remind me of Pirate pitchers, but they're with the Yankees in their minor league system. Now, how about we talk about number 3 pitching prospect, Ben Hess? Even though Hess was chosen as the best pro prospect in the state of Illinois in 2021, he chose to attend college at the University of Alabama instead. Roll Tide. Not high tide like the Allstate commercial. It's Roll Tide.
Yes, that's hilarious.
Yep. After dealing with injury adversity, the flame-throwing righty had a productive and healthy 2024 season. Yes, he did pitch a worrisome 5.80 ERA, but additionally, he had a 35% strikeout rate. Hess has a nasty four-seam fastball ranging from 92 to 96 miles per hour. It could peak up to 99 miles per hour.
Yeah,
He
Hess
also
throws some
throws
serious. Oh, I'm sorry.
what? What'd you say?
I was going to say Hess throws some serious gas, doesn't he?
Yep. He also throws a deep and sweeping mid-70s curveball that can tricks hitters into whiffing on pitches. If he could regain his slider and control, he could be a number 2 start in the MLB. But honestly, these prospect rankings, you don't know. I think they undervalue them. They bring them down a little bit. I think the sky's the limit for this kid. He could be more than a number 2. New York's number 3 prospect has looked great in his first season at High A Hudson Valley. Hess had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning and retired 17 straight batters between the 1st and the 6th. He had a no-no broken up on an infield single deflecting off him, but ended the inning with a double play to end his outing after a pro best 6 2/3 innings. Has tied his career high 9 strikeouts and is averaging 14.04 strikeouts per 9 innings with a 3.24 ERA and an 0.96 whip. Joe, how about Ben Hess continuing to dominate High A?
Yeah, he's going to continue to do that, and I don't think he's going to stay in High A for long. I mean, he's not scheduled to get to the Yankees till about, 2027? I think he's 22 years old, give or take. Yeah. But still, I think you're going to see some pretty quick progress here, and he may be able to beat that date. We'll see. It's still early, but he's certainly living up to the potential so far.
Yep. Could we see a promotion to Double-A Somerset soon?
I would think so. In fact, I would be willing to bet yes.
Him and Bryce Cunningham probably. He'll be up there with George Lombard, who got promoted up to Double-A, and Spencer Jones, who's been doing really well. He's out on the 7-day injured list, but I think he'll be, when he comes back, I think he's done enough to earn a Triple-A promotion. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, let's turn back over to you, Joe, for some more Mets updates.
All right.
Joe?
Well, thanks for that excellent Yankees information there. Again, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on some of these players that you're mentioning there. So you got me interested now too, and I'll certainly be watching their progress. Now, as far as the Mets are concerned, they still continue to play excellent baseball. They were 4-2 this past week. 1-1 against the Diamondbacks going back to last Tuesday night and Wednesday. Again, playing a Cubs team that's tearing the cover off the ball and playing excellent baseball. Took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs at Citi Field and beat the Pirates last night. And before we went on the air, they were winning 1-0 tonight. So definitely continue to play great baseball. Outscored their opponents 30-19 this week. So that's about a 5-3 average there. So they're not giving up a lot of runs. They're scoring 5 a game. So certainly making things happen. And some hot hitters here too, and some hot pitchers that I'm going to talk about in a few seconds. But just to give an update, they're 27-15. Again, hard to believe the season's a quarter over after this past weekend. So a 2.5 game lead over the Phillies. You would think a 27-15 record maybe would give them a little bit more leeway, but you got the Phillies that are going to be with them all year long. The Braves are starting to play like the Braves. So it's going to be a race to the end here. Now let's talk about some of these hot hitters. I think Brett Baty is taking advantage of that last opportunity. He's got more chances and lives than a cat. And I was convinced that this was the last one here. Well, how about 3 home runs and 6 RBIs this week? A 12-15 OPS. Now, speaking of OPS, 4 other players had an OPS over 1,000 this week. So the Mets are hitting, they're getting on base. Now, Jeff McNeil, small sample size here, only 9 at-bats, but how about a 1,500 OPS? Home run and 3 RBIs and 9 at-bats. Some guy named Francisco Lindor with a 1,326 OPS. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, doing things on the bases too. He scored 3 runs, stole 3 bases as well. So Lindor not just doing it with the long ball here. Mark Vientos with a 1231 OPS. Now, generally small ball, did have a home run and 2 RBIs. How about a 462 batting average for the week? So definitely getting it done there. Brandon Nimmo playing his best baseball of the season, a 1011 OPS, home run, 2 RBIs, but 6 hits and 18 at bats. So a 333 batting average throughout the week. Don't forget about Juan Soto. He didn't have an OPS over 1,000, but I think 959 OPS is more than satisfactory, especially when you're doing it with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. So only the concern with him is he had like 7 strikeouts this week. So a couple of big spots too, but certainly not going to complain about those stats that I just mentioned there. Mets starting pitching is really doing well. And you know, we were talking about pitchers going innings. They're starting to go innings now. 4 starters went 6 innings this week. All right, Peterson, Senga, Canning, and Holmes. The only pitcher with a subpar start was Tyler McGill. But these guys, here's some information on them. Now, Canning and Holmes pitched the 6 innings. Each of them only gave up 1 earned run in those 6 innings. Now, Peterson gave up 2. Senga gave up 0. And Senga and Canning both only gave up 2 hits in those 6 innings. Relief pitchers still pitching really well. Huascar Brazoban has been the king of that bullpen so far. 3 1/3 innings this week, 1 hit, 1 unearned run. Now that resulted in a blown save, but still no walks. So 1 hit given up, that's a .3 whip. All right, walks and hits to innings pitched. So and a .091 batting average is against. So this guy has just been unstoppable or unhittable, I should say. You know, here we are a quarter of the way through the season. Now, a comeback player of the week here is Ryan Stanek. He blew a bunch of saves last week and was getting smacked around all over the place. 3 innings pitched this week, not a single hit, run, or walk given up. So I think that is redemption there. So kudos to Ryan Stanek for getting himself back on track. I know it helped that manager, Mendoza brought him back a little bit. He wasn't pitching late innings like he was. So just to get him back on track, smart move. And again, 3 innings pitched and, almost perfect here. Now coming up here, as far as the rest of the week here, finishing the homestand tonight and tomorrow against the Pirates. And then a challenging stretch here, a 6-game road trip. Not that they have to go very far, against 2 of the top teams in the American League East. So this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, going all the way to the Bronx versus the New York Yankees. So we'll have some interesting stuff to talk about next Tuesday here. And then after that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Fenway Park against the Boston Red Sox. And so it'll be a challenge. I mean, the Mets are just unbelievable at home. They're only 11-11 on the road. So, again, 2 tough opponents here. And we'll see if the Mets if they can go 3-3 on that road trip. I think that would be, a great success for them. So just the Mets playing great on all aspects here. Pitching is amazing. They're hitting the ball, hitting in timely spots. So hopefully it can continue, so we'll send it back to you.
And guess what, Joe? It is actually now time in our show for a question of the week segment. Would you like to give it a try?
Let's give it a try. I think I'm on a little bit of a streak here, so we'll see if I can keep that going.
Okay, Joe, so here's your question. Can you guess this MLB player? He was a 2-time champ and has most playoff hits by a non-Yankee player. Is it Manny Ramirez, Yadier Molina, Miguel Cabrera, Jose Altuve?
Well, could be any of them. Can you repeat the question again?
Yes. Can you guess this MLB player? He was a 2-time champ and has the most playoff hits by a player who was not a Yankee.
Okay. And who are they again?
Manny Ramirez, Yadier Molina, Miguel Cabrera, Jose Altuve.
Is it Jose Altuve?
No, it was Manny Ramirez. He had 117 postseason hits.
Okay.
And he won 2 world championships with the Red Sox in 2004 and I think 2007.
I wasn't sure. The only thing that stopped me from taking him is I wasn't sure if he was on both of those Red Sox teams there.
And remember, the Red Sox won in 2013 as well, but I don't think Big Papi or Ramirez were on that team.
Right. I knew he was on the 04 team, but I wasn't so sure that he was with them. But excellent question there. And I have one for you, courtesy of my friend Tom here. I think it's a pretty tough question here, but it's one that I think you can handle. Let's go to it here. All right. So, which active Major League Baseball player has the most World Series titles? Is it Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, Mookie Betts, or Will Smith?
Is it Jose Altuve?
It is not. What does he have? 2?
Oh, is it let me try again. Is it what's his face? Is it Mookie Betts?
It is Mookie Betts. Very good. Because he had 2 at the Red Sox? I think he didn't Tom didn't tell me here.
13 and 18 and then he had 2, 13 and 18 and then he
24.
And
right, with the Dodgers there.
That was with the Dodgers. So,
yeah. So, okay. So, not bad. You got it on the second try there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question, Tom. I appreciate it.
Yes, we definitely appreciate it. And Tom is one of our most faithful watchers to this show, too. So, we very much appreciate that. And we got a question here, Ravori Sports Podcast. This was just a minute ago. He says, how do you guys feel about Aaron Judge being named captain of the next WBC? All right. Would he be? And then part 2 to that, I think we should defer to you first here. Would he be a better captain than Derek Jeter?
That's a pretty lofty thing to say that he's a better captain than Derek Jeter. I don't know. I mean, I think when it comes to captains, it was Derek Jeter was the guy. Aaron Judge is probably the greatest baseball player in the league right now. But I mean, I just think the things that Jeter did during his time were amazing. And what Judge is doing is amazing too, but I don't think there's anybody who's going to be better than Jeter, you know?
Okay. But you would agree probably that he's a logical captain for that WBC team.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. It's his first time playing in the freaking tournament. He didn't even play in the last one because he was negotiating for a new contract.
Okay. Yeah. So I agree with both of those. I think that great choice for the American team there. And again, can anybody, be a better captain than Jeter? Then that's tough shoes to fill. So we very much appreciate that question, and it's an excellent one. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Charles, for that. Mm-hmm. Now, anyway, we're going to talk about how Trent Grisham and Devin Williams set the table for Escara's walk-off. With J.C. Escara, or as I call him, the Kurt Warner of the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, that's the
Uber.
Where did he work
Uber
before?
Driver, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
With J.C. Escara beaming and thumping his chest, he then turned around to find almost the whole Yankees roster chasing him and mobbing him for the walk-off celebration. The rookie saw fellow youngster Austin Wells ready to tackle him, then felt Anthony Volpe trying to rip his pinstripe jersey off like it was Rob Ray and Ty Domi back in one of those old classic Toronto Sabres fights at the Odd, then the first couple of years at the Kern Arena. Mm-hmm. Those are the moments, and we have a quote, those are the moments that I'll never forget, Escarra said. Those are things you dream about as a kid, and it's all unfolding in real time in front of my eyes. Escarra delivered the walk-off sac fly, and many teammates contributed by doing their part in the club's best win so far on the season. Trent Grisham came off the bench to crack a game-tying homer, and Devin Williams struck out the side with the bases loaded, setting up the 4-3 win in 10 innings. Just a lot of fight, a lot of grit, Grisham said. The series was kind of like the epitome of the guys that are in this locker room. There was a lot of fight. Every game we were down, fighting back. We were in every single one of them and then to come away with the last two was huge. Mm-hmm. Wednesday's comeback was unlikely, especially when Padres ace Dylan Cease had a no-hitter in the 7th inning. Cody Bellinger then ceased the no-no with the second homer, tying the game, forcing Cease to leave the game with a right forearm cramp. San Diego scored a pair of runs in the 8th inning, but loud reactions towered through the crowd, putting the Padres ahead 3-1. But the cheers were for the Knicks, actually, coming back from 20 points down to shock the Celtics in Game 2 of the NBA's Eastern Conference semifinals. Many fans had been multitasking, tracking the hoops action on their phones. And we have a funny comment from manager Aaron Boone. I figured the Knicks were doing well, manager Aaron Boone said.
Yeah, he knows.
Yep. The Yankees would then respond, and Grisham had the response the team needed. Considered a supplementary pickup of the blockbuster trade for Juan Soto in December 2023, Grisham has taken advantage of more playing time, showing he's more than just a defensive first player. Grisham's second deck ride to right field off Jason Adam was his 10th homer of the year, surpassing his total of 9 from all last year. And a quote, I'm having fun with the guys. I would say that more than anything, Grisham said. The clubhouse is really good in here, led by Cap, Aaron Judge. So I would say the guys have been the most enjoyable part. Luke Dreamweaver was brilliant, recording 5 outs in relief, but then the phone rang for Devin Williams. How would he respond to the call? Williams' first month at pinstripes has not even equaled expectations at all, to put it blank. Dismiss from the closer's role in April, Williams was unfazed by a rough performance in Monday's series opener by believing in his renewed confidence. Williams navigated the top of the order, including striking out Alexander Bogart with his air bunder changer with the full count and the bases juiced. It was a big spot, Williams added, starting with the automatic runner at second, getting out of that without giving up any runs. I felt like our guys were going to come through and the game was going to be over, and it was. Let me catch my breath for a little bit. All of this wouldn't have occurred without the ace pitching from Max Fried, and the Yankees improved to 8-0 with the left-handers starting. Continuing a monster beginning as a New York Yankee, Fried stifled the Padres in 7 innings of allowing just 1 run. He struck out 8, allowed no walks, and gave up 5 hits, including Jackson Morrell's 4th inning home run, which was the only earned run Fried had given up since April 15th.
Wow.
I thought this might have been his best command game, in my opinion, all year, Boone said. Obviously, that's saying something with how well he's pitched. Fried's 1.05 ERA through 51 2/3 innings leads the AL. It's only behind Whitey Ford, 1.01 ERA in 1956, and Phil Nieto 1.04 ERA in 1984 in franchise history. And quote, we went out there and played our best brand of baseball, Fried said. It was really big. We went down, but the offense always came back and answered. It's just a really good series win. Joe, after all that, what do you think of the New York Yankees showing grit and toughness and pulling everything out of that game for the 4-3 win against the red-hot San Diego Padres team?
I think you just said it, right? Grit, heart, and just wanting to win it. And they pulled it off. Where would the Yankees be without Fried, right? I mean, that's at least you're talking 8 wins there. But where would they be without him? But again, this is what championship teams do, is they grind out victories. They play with that heart and passion that you're seeing from this team. And again, the Padres are one of the best teams in the league and a potential they are a World Series candidate themselves. So to get a victory like that against a team like that, I think just shows exactly what you said there. And as long as the Yankees keep that and maintain that, then they're going to be certainly going in the right direction. And again, be one of those teams that we're talking about late in the season. We're already talking about it now, but especially then about teams that have a chance to win it all.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like we come to the end of our show. So, Joe, where can we find you in the social media world on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025?
Tuesday, May 13th. Again, a quarter of the way through the baseball season already. I am on Twitter, X, Joe Dell Sports, so you could find my takes about baseball and other sports there.
Yep. And then you can find me, yours truly, on Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist at DJ Dogtags on X, theforkball.com, and stadiumrant.com, where I write about all sports. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, Driving the Top Productions. Like, comment, and ring the bell for notifications. For more content like this on Driving to the Top Productions, such as our show and also the open mic show at 9 o'clock p.m. and our Thursday UFL show, please go visit our YouTube page, Twitch stream, Facebook stream, X-Ray, wherever you consume your podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to you tuning back in with us next Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. on the Subway Conversation Chat. Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to the Subway Conversation Chat with Jamie and Joe. Have a good night, folks.
Have a great week, everybody.